As usual, there's never a dull moment in Jamaica, not to mention the global village we live in. This morning, the issue of those severely disabled orphans of Haiti who mustard seed communities took in, given the turmoil in the Haitian capital and the breakdown of law and order in much of Haiti. I was stunned when I heard that mustard seed was being accused of really mistreating and denying health care of these 59 Haitian youngsters. As George said this morning, they're very, very vulnerable. Yes, they have, several of them have so severe disabilities that they need continuous help, And to hear Miss Ritchie, Cheryl Ritchie, of Haiti Children, where the Turner yesterday morning was quite disheartening until yesterday afternoon when the story took another turn. And it took another turn since morning because we're now hearing that not 10 but 9 of the Haitian caregivers who came with the kids from Haiti some weeks ago, we heard this morning that they had not absconded, as we were told yesterday by, I think, David Silvera of Mustard Seed Communities when he appeared in Nationwide at 5 with the executive director, Darcy Tuller Williams. This morning, Cheryl Ritchie spoke with one of our producers and said, no, there's a serious misunderstanding here. The Haitian caregivers have not absconded. Well, I'm here to tell you, and that they're back on the job. Well, literally minutes ago, Mr. Silvera of Mustard Seed, their development consultant, told me, and that I can quote him, that up until when he spoke with me, about 5 minutes to 10, they had not returned. This argument about week on and week off roster, rubbish. They had not returned to work. Contrary to what Miss Ritchie told our producer this morning, which is adding to the confusion as to what is happening. What is happening? We just don't know, and we now learn from the Gleaner this morning, the Gleaner's lead story, Haitian orphan missing. Yeah? Disabled child taken for surgery at Bustamante, but not brought back to Mustard Seed facility. Yes? What the dickens is happening? And we're trying to get to the bottom of it. We're trying to get to the real facts. We are hoping to get some more from not only the people at Mustard Seed, but Miss Ritchie and the government of Jamaica. I can tell you that at least one cabinet minister with whom I spoke last evening is very concerned about the turn of events and said to me that they are surprised because for the caregivers, and that is probably an inaccurate description of them, because what is being said is that they're not really caregivers. Yes, they're not really caregivers. And I'm going to ask the question because I think based on what is already in the public domain, the question has to be asked of Miss Ritchie and Haiti children. These so-called caregivers, are they really caregivers or are they Haitians you're trying to get out of Haiti, given the turmoil there? And this is, as in Jamaica, is an avenue to get them out of Haiti and go elsewhere, if not stay here. Are they really caregivers or they came here under the guise of providing care for these 59 Haitian children who needed help and who continue to need help? So we have to watch it later today. Will the story take another turn later today? Because will they turn up for their shift week on and week off, according to Miss Ritchie? Will they turn up? We just don't know. And I would imagine that the Jamaican government, the authorities, through the Ministry of National Security, the Ministry of Education, which has responsibility for children, and its agency CPFSA, PICA, all of whom should be working now to find out what is happening. And are these, and it's not 10 as we're told, it's 9 so-called caregivers who have absconded. 9. So we're going to continue to watch that. It's also instructive that the Child Protection and Family Services Agency said yesterday that it has never received any allegation of abuse of children in the care and custody of mustard seed facilities across the island. Yes, they made that clear yesterday. So we're going to continue to watch that for you. There are some other stories that are bubbling. Word came yesterday that, you remember the budding dancehall artist Medikk? Yes, who went missing in 2023? Well, and her skeletal remains, suspected to be those of hers, were found in a cane field in February this year. Well, the science has been completed, the postmortem has been done, and those skeletal remains have been confirmed to be those of Medikk. Her given name is Stephanie Williams. But what is interesting and surprising is the fact that the post-mortem done on the skeletal remains has shown that she died of multiple gunshot wounds. She was shot and killed. Nora Gay Banton has that report.
Police sources have confirmed that DNA analysis has positively identified the remains of the missing artist. The lawmen have now formally upgraded their investigation into a murder probe. Williams was reported missing in August last year. Her mother had issued an impassioned plea for her safe return. A police search team discovered the skeletal remains in a cane field in Wallen District, St. Catherine, in February this year. Those remains have now positively been identified as Medikk. It's understood police also retrieved items of clothing and jewelry at the location where her body was found. Police investigators were tight-lipped when our news center made contact this afternoon seeking an update on the investigation. They would only say they were making progress in the probe. One senior lawman indicated he would only be prepared to go on the record once the crime has been solved. Another indicated the police are confident they will soon make a breakthrough in the case. Nora Gay Banton for Nationwide News.
Yeah. So she was shot several times. The Observer leads with a story this morning. Marked for death. Mother of slain alleged gangster cop says 3 attempts were made on his life in recent times. Mother of slain alleged gangster cop. And according to the Observer reporting this morning, the mother of alleged gangster cop, Constable Mario Thomas, says her son was targeted multiple times prior to him being chased and gunned down on Tuesday night in Manchester. Quoting the mother, 3 times they attempted to take his life. They shot up my car in Georges Valley, said Dalari Senior Stevens, the mother of the slain cop, hours after his body was found in bushes. She said the firearm license issued to Thomas had been revoked after he was interdicted in 2020. That's 4 years ago. He had a licensed firearm and they took it. It's like they left him out here for them to kill him. And see, they killed him, added Senior Stevens, as she claimed her son, her slain son, was not involved in any wrongdoing. But in a statement on Wednesday, the Jamaica Constabulary Force said Thomas had been interdicted from duty since September 29, 2020. And listen to this. According to the JCF, Constable Thomas had been interdicted following his involvement in an alleged case of murder and other serious crimes. According to the police, Thomas's body was found in bushes Wednesday morning following a shooting incident on Tuesday night. A police source told the Observer that at about 10:30 on Tuesday, Thomas was seen purchasing an item at a shop in Comfort when he was attacked by an armed man. Thomas attempted to escape his attacker, but was chased and shot at again. The Major Investigation Division of the JCF is probing the killing of Thomas. On Wednesday, his mother was adamant that he was not a criminal. He was only in Manchester because he was on interdiction. He has never served in Manchester. He served in Kingston. He was part of the special operations, said his mother. Yeah? But based on what the police are saying, Mummy, your boy was mixed up. In December 2022, Thomas was taken into police custody following an armed robbery and double murder at a supermarket in porous Manchester. Jin Xiang Yi, a Chinese national who was one of the proprietors of the supermarket, and a bystander, Alfonso Cohen, were killed in that incident. But Senior Stevens claimed that her son was wrongfully accused in that incident. Yeah. I went to the police commissioner's office and didn't get any justice. And from there, is one officer kept in touch with me after I went up there and let them know what was happening here in Manchester with my son, who was not a criminal, said Senior Stevens. A typical mother. A mother. A mother's love knows no boundaries. Yeah? But 3 attempts on his life, interdicted for over 4 years, not returned to the force, actually arrested in connection with murder. You know, look good. Just leave it at that. You know, look good, Mom. Then in Westmoreland, on Tuesday morning, a couple, a man and his wife, were killed at their home in Whithorn, and their home set on fire. We don't know why, but what we do know now, from the commanding officer for Westmoreland, the man identified as the main suspect, a Tevin Robinson, otherwise called Sean Storm. Do we have another Sean Storm? Or is that something of an alias? Sean Storm. Well, this one is Tevin Robinson, who was identified as the main suspect in the killing of the man and his wife earlier this week in Whithorn. He has been killed by the police. Here's a commanding officer for Westmoreland, Othniel Dobson.
In the Whithorn police area, a main person of interest and triggerman was identified as Tevin Robinson, OC Sean Storm. The necessary policing activities were put in place to apprehend him and take him before the court. On Wednesday, the 19th, about 3:30 p.m., a police team was operating within the Bluefields police area, where Robinson, along with another man, was identified. The police alighted from the marked service vehicle and gave clear instructions to the men not to move. Both men started running and Robinson started firing at the police.
That's Superintendent Othniel Dobson. He says the police returned the fire, and when the shooting subsided, Robinson was found with a 9mm pistol with 2 live rounds, and he was pronounced dead at hospital. According to Superintendent Dobson, Robinson was a known violence producer.
Robinson was before the Savlamar court for a case of murder. He's a known violence producer that impacts several policing districts within the Westmoreland Police Division. I'm taking this medium to urge the citizens of Westmoreland to continue to work with the police as we try to rid the communities of these violent criminals.
Superintendent Othniel Dobson of the Westmoreland Police. Well, what was the motive for killing that couple? Will we ever know? And, we have too many Robinsons around in Jamaica. We continue to produce them. It's like a conveyor belt. Yes. There's another matter. The Keith Clark killing in 2010. That is also ongoing, and the trial is pretty advanced now. Mr. Clark's widow and daughter have been thoroughly cross-examined on the witness stand. Now, a crime scene forensic investigator is on the stand. And coming out of yesterday, he denied suggestion put to him by defense attorney that he did a poor and inefficient job collecting evidence from the home of Mr. Clark. And of course, you know the case of Keith Clark killed at his Upper St. Andrew home during that military operation on May 27, 2010, in search of the now convicted drug don, Christopher Dudus Coke. 3 soldiers are on trial for Mr. Clark's murder. And the investigator is a third witness in the ongoing murder trial. And yesterday he was put under pressure, saying he did a poor job. Here's Dana Davies' report on that.
In his previous testimony, the crime scene forensic investigator stated that he found over 500 casings at the crime scene. He also took photos of brown stains resembling blood from the master bedroom, along with several beer bottles found in different sections of Clark's Upper Kirkland Heights home. The witness at the time testified that air beer bottles found in the house were swabbed for DNA samples. On Wednesday, the investigator was shown several photographs which he captured of red stripe beer bottles strewn across the premises. More than 15 beer bottles were highlighted in the 9 photos shown to the court. Defense attorney for Corporal Odell Buckley, King's Counsel Peter Champagny, asked the witness whether DNA testing was conducted on the bottles shown in the photos. The investigator replied, quote, "It is not my job to cause DNA testing on the bottles," end quote. When further asked whether DNA testing was done on each of the bottles shown to the court, the witness consistently stated that he could not recall. K.C. Champagny questioned whether the witness conducted fingerprint testing on any of the beer bottles apart from the 8 previously mentioned as being swabbed. The witness said he did not. K.C. Champagny continued suggesting that the investigator had done a poor job of capturing evidence at Clark's home, that he was not fair in the testing of the beer bottles, and that the witness was most unhelpful in carrying out his duties. The witness disagreed with all the suggestions. K.C. Champagny further suggested that the witness did not act with the highest level of professionalism in handling the crime scene. To this, the investigator responded, quote, "Yes, sir, I did," end quote. The trial will resume on Thursday morning at 10. Dana Davey for Nationwide News.
All right, just before we go to the break, I'm listening and watching carefully the kerfuffle over public health, consequent on the accusations of the opposition spokesman on health, Dr. Alfred Dawes, regarding ventilators that were donated to Jamaica during the pandemic and whether they are working or been pilfered in the system. Yesterday, Dawes called for an audit of the extent to which we have ventilators working in the country. And he made some other accusations at a media briefing. Tufton, the health minister, says he will be responding shortly. Yeah? Let us see it turn out now. Yeah? George Davis, this morning, said he's not going to allow West Indies to trick him again. And I can understand why. We West Indian cricket fans have been suffering for more than 30 odd years now. Yeah? And the T20 World Cup of cricket taking place in the region and the US. Up until last night, the West Indies were winning all their matches. They won all their matches. They are on a winning streak of 8 matches in T20, the shortest format of the game. And last night they came up against England, who are the defending champions. And let me tell you something, my heart sank again. Boy, they didn't fire as a batting unit. Making 180 on that wicket in St. Lucia was below par. That is a 220 runs. Minimum 210, 215 they should have put up. But then again, when they came to bowl, the bowling was horrible. And the Englishmen just butter bruise us. And as I saw West Indies going down to defeat, I could not help but thinking about the Prime Minister of St. Vincent, my good friend Ralph, who told Mason's program in Barbados the night before that, no man, West Indies will win because we will not allow these Englishmen to beat us on home soil. I mean, I know Ralph managing, but we get a backside in last night. And we can only hope that they will come back. I'm not yet prepared to write them off in this T20 competition. It's a good side. It's a very strong side. But boy, they must be more consistent when they come up against the big teams. India is facing Afghanistan. How is that going? Can you tell me? How is that going, Nora? I gather the Afghans are having the Indians under pressure. Yeah? We dismissed and beat Afghanistan badly. So, but that is a game of cricket, you know. Cricket is a very cerebral sport. India, 97 for 4. Yeah, how many overs they are gone now out of the 20? But India struggling at 97 for 4. Yeah, against Afghanistan. They're into the 12th or 13th over. And India are 97 for 4.